Hello, my loves. Hello, hello, hello. My name is Dustina. This is Spiritual Boujee Astrology, and we are going to look at the astrological transits of March 10th to March 16th. If you guys can hear my voice, I'm sure you can see me right now. For those that audio only, you're gonna just have to go with my voice. This Venus retrograde in my sixth house of health has not been fun because as soon as I was starting to get over the flu, I caught a virus this week. So both me and my mom have been really sick. It has taken me all day on Sunday to get to an upright position to where I could even record this for you guys. I did not want to be late. I had every intention over the last half of the earlier this week to actually do a Venus retrograde video, and I did not do it because again, I got sick and I'm already over this Venus retrograde, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm already over it. So there's not going to be an individual meditative rant video on the Venus retrograde. I think you guys hear enough of whatever I'm talking about, like the vibration, whenever we go through each weekly episode. So I'm just going to stick with that format for the time being, especially knowing like how much I'm going to be needing to upload over the course of the next week with what we're about to go into, because this is a really big week for a lot of us. It's a very big week. We have very big energy to this week. So we have the Venus Mercury conjunction that's happening first. And what's interesting about that is as soon as those two hit their conjunction, that's right as Venus is starting to move backwards. And after that, Mercury is like stunned. It is shocked. There's something about it that it freezes a mentality and it leads to the ripple effect for how the rest of this week is going to go. And I want to keep talking about the major transits, and then I want to tie some of this together. Immediately following the Venus Mercury conjunction, we're going to have the Sun Saturn conjunction. And we're building to that all week, but it's not going to go exact until the middle of the week. And whenever it comes to the Sun Saturn, there's certain things that get revealed, certain people that get recognized for the authority that they have taken, for the responsibility that they have taken on. Some of the things that can get revealed can either be by an authority figure, about an authority figure, by an elder, about an elder. Certain people are going to be having new responsibilities issued to them this week. Certain people will have certain responsibilities removed from them this week. It really comes down to how this is all manifesting into your personal life. Immediately following the Sun Saturn conjunction, we're going into the Virgo full moon eclipse. Well, the sun is still going to be in a conjunction to Saturn in that eclipse. Not only that, Uranus will be aspecting that eclipse. Immediately following that Virgo full moon, a full moon ruled by Mercury, Mercury is going to go retrograde. And the one thing that I can tell people about this week is you probably shouldn't expect certain things to go to plan. Now, some people, you don't have a plan right now. We've talked about this. Individually, I've talked to you one-on-one in some way, shape, or form. And that is, I don't really want to make a decision. I don't really want to do anything. I'm not ready to do anything. I'm just stunned. I'm just shocked. I'm just waiting for something to happen so I know what to do next. For some of you, there will be direction in the revealing this week. For some of you, there will be some information that comes to light that forces you to change your opinion, to rethink a purpose, to rethink a direction, to rethink how you're dealing with something. Mercury rules our logical brain. And a lot of this energy this week speaks to logic and having a shift in our knowledge, a shift in our logic, a shift in our plan. Certain things will not go to plan this week. For some of you, you have a plan of action like, I've got this and this and this scheduled, and it's going to go this way, this way, this way, and this way. And by the end of the week, we should arrive here. But then something's going to come through midway through the week and derail you. And by the end of the week, when Mercury goes retrograde, that will be the shift in your plan. However, for others, you will be the one to derail the other person. Congratulations. Sometimes you are the chaos. This is one of those weeks that our opinion, Our idea, our plan, once we communicate something, once something is issued, once the documents are filed, once the file is ordered and served and put out there in the press and ready to be read and seen, because for some people, there will be some very public aspects to this, especially if you are a mutable sign. Once the information is out there, it's going to curtail a change. Because again, by the end of this week, Mercury is going to go retrograde. Now, for some people, what happens in the start of the Mercury retrograde, it is a reactive energy. And the reason I keep saying so much of this month and so much of what we're about to go into is reactive is because of the indirect transits that are also in the balance. And a lot of this week's energy that's going on between Aries and Pisces, they're in a contra-ANTISCIA. They're working with one another, but whenever planets are going retrograde, that means they don't want to act right. So there's something about that retrograde that feels reactive. Now, for some of us, the reactive energy is going to be because something has gone wrong, something has happened, something has been revealed. It forces us to change our plan. It forces us to go in a different direction. But for some of us, we've been reluctant to even make a decision on something. We've been reluctant to go in a direction. We've been reluctant to do certain things. And then whatever gets revealed, getting into the full moon and getting into the start of that retrograde. So over the course of the week, it spurs that turn and that change of opinion, the change in the idea, the change in our mindset. It spurs that little turn. And I think there's something very, very telling that's going to come through between both the Venus-Mercury conjunction and the Sun-Saturn conjunction. Now, Venus and Mercury are first, but the reason I put so much emphasis on Venus and Mercury is because of how things move after Mercury turns retrograde. Mercury will follow Venus, and they will stay anywhere between 1 and 4 degrees apart all the way until April, moving from one sign to the other. There is meant to be a shock to the system that as soon as it comes through, as soon as it is revealed, as soon as it is decided upon, as soon as it comes to light, as soon as that information hits, it's like all eyes are on Venus, but Mercury is giving the results, giving an extra dynamic, doing the follow through, the follow up. And for a lot of people are going to be dealing with the energy after this week, not during this week, but after this week. It's like we're constantly watching something, following up on something, tracking the treatment, tracking the idea, tracking the progress, tracking the training, tracking something based off of how this week goes through and where we land at the end of it. If you have a plan for something going into this new week, it is very likely some part of that plan is not going to go the way that you think it is. There is going to be a turn. Now, some of you are going to make a decision to not continue something. You have a bright idea, but then it's like as soon as you see some documentation, as soon as you see all the I's that need to be crossed, the T's that need to be dotted, and you're like, the percentage isn't right. That commission isn't right. These percentages, these numbers, these don't jive. Something isn't right. I'm not doing it. I'm not going to sign. And what will follow will be weeks of trying to renegotiate something, weeks of people chasing their tail, trying to come up with a different plan, kind of to come up with a different agenda. Some of you will make a logical decision to not do something this week. For others, it's going to be very, very different. But to sit on Monday and try to figure out everything that you need to go through or everything that you're about to change, you're not going to figure it out. By the end of the week, though, we will have a different idea of what we need to evaluate, what we need to re-emphasize, rediscover, reshape, restructure, revise. And it will all come down to how things present themselves throughout this week. It's a very intense week. And anytime you have the sun coming into a conjunction with Saturn, people are very matter of fact. They get very, very clear about this is my responsibility. This is how I want to accomplish something. And they can be very goal driven in those times. Their purpose can be in a certain way. They can desire certain things to happen. And they can have a push and motivation to accomplish something. But sometimes whenever we see someone suddenly having some random motivation, something new in their system, it can rub another person the wrong way. For some of you, the opinion change will be because of what is being presented in another person's energy. For some of you, you are going to be very driven and motivated to do something, and that is going to turn someone else against you. They're not going to support you the same way. Doesn't always have to be hater energy. It can be more along the lines of, you're doing you, and I'm sitting back for this. Do whatever you need to do. You're doing it on your own. I'm not funding you. I'm not supporting you. I'm not driving you. I'm not doing it. And you need to be prepared for that. Not everybody is going to be on board with what you're working on. And that's just going to be the way it goes. It doesn't mean that you're doing the wrong thing, but sometimes people, when they see something that feels like it's too risky, they would rather take a seat back and wait to see how things pan out before they jump on board later. And sometimes that can still rub people the wrong way. It can. This is just the human effect. But the vibration of this week is either revealing something, setting in a motivation, trying to get things accomplished, but by the end of the week, there is something that speaks to a change of opinion, a change of plans, a change in motivation, a change that is going to be harboring energy for the next 3 to 4 weeks, pushing us through the entirety of eclipse season. Because again, this week starts eclipse season. Yay. Yay. All right. Bear with me, guys. I'm still feeling like crap. I'm doing everything that I can to make sure that we get this going. First things first, we're going to start off on Monday, March the 10th. I've got this right here at the 12:30. The way that I ended the episode last week is the way that I'm starting this episode. And that is that moon's opposition to Pluto. Some of us are having a real late night on Sunday. Some of us, this is going to be something about Monday morning, but this is what I'm looking at. And this is why I'm very stuck on this moon Pluto thing. The moon is in the sun sign. Pluto is in one of Saturn's signs, but it's also in Uranus's sign. The eclipse that we will have later this week will be the sun conjunct Saturn, and that eclipse will be in an aspect to Uranus. The moon will be trining Uranus. The sun will be sextiling Uranus. So there can be something that starts to roll out either Sunday evening or early Monday morning. That again is just kind of setting the stage for where we're going to have this change throughout eclipse season. So the moon is looking at Pluto. This can be a fear, this can be a trigger, this can be trauma, this can be frustration. That can be the negative aspects. The other side of this is like, this is what I need to focus on. This is where I need to end my power struggle. This is what I need to accomplish. This is what I need to change. And considering over the next few days, while the moon is going through Leo, while the moon is going through the sun sign, this is when the sun and Saturn are hitting their conjunction. These two fixed areas of the sky can be like, I want to make a change that's going to have a long-term impact, but it's taking these few days for the vibration of the change to really make sense, to take shape, and to come to light. There can be instigative energy and triggers in this moment of, again, something I want to change. For some people, it can be to overcome a power struggle, to overcome a fear. For other people, it's seeing just how much someone has transformed and overcome certain things. So for some people, it can be positive. For other people, it can be negative. Okay. Moving this along, we're going to get into the morning time between 8 and 10 a.m. Mercury is going to go through a trine with the moon. So I got this at 9:30 right here. I got Mercury 8 degrees, 0 minutes. Here's the moon, 8 degrees, 17 minutes. This was closer to exact around 9 a.m. But this is Mercury in a fire sign. Now, I'll be honest, Mercury, since he's been in Aries, pop-off season has been real. A lot of people have had some things that they wanted to get off of their chest. They suddenly had some things to say. And even people that normally don't say things had things to say in pop-off season. This can be as something where we're talking about an idea with someone, but given that Mercury is slowing down, there could be one side that's hesitant, and even in that hesitancy, like there's a frustration there. And we're talking about a frustration. We're voicing a frustration, an understandable frustration, because it is a trine. The Mercury is in a trine to the moon. This is where I've been frustrated. This is where I've been motivated for some. This is where I want to do something. This is what I've been trying to do. This is what I've been trying to overcome. This is what I've been dealing with. This is who I just had an argument with. This does not have to be the most tense energy in the world, just to be clear, but there can be something that speaks back to pop off season and what has kind of popped out of people's mouths over the course of the last week, just to be clear. Okay. Between 10:30 and 12:30 p.m., Venus is going to go through a trine with the moon. Now, this one's a little bit different because Venus is retrograde. And in some ways, we can be telling someone like, oh yeah, I'm not going to that appointment. I'm not agreeing to that. I'm not offering that. I can't do that. I'm not going to continue that at this time. I can't give you what you want. You're going to have to do something else. You're going to have to come in. You're going to have to meet. You're going to have to do something different. And given the fact that we're going through this energy where Mercury and Venus are about to hit a conjunction, there part of the vibration can speak to a hesitancy of like temporary vibration of like, I can't do that right now, but if you come and meet me tomorrow, if you meet me in a few days, if we talk about it later, we might be able to make more headway. And I want to be clear about that. It's like some people are going to be met with some levels of hesitancy, but that doesn't mean that they can't be overcome. Some of us are going to be talking about the appearance of something, telling somebody that we don't like how something looks anymore, how something tastes. Venus is retrograde. Her opinion can be very much like, I don't even see eye to eye with that person anymore. I don't want to talk about that stuff anymore. I don't want to dress the same way, and I want to make some kind of change. A lot of this fire energy can also speak to, I want to change something in my appearance. And there can be the ideas of that are spoken through in this vibration. All in all, Monday is not terrible. It's not super stressful, but it is setting the vibration for the entire week because we're building up to a full moon. So there can be heightened energy, even whenever we don't necessarily mean it to feel like heightened energy. Okay, moving this along. We get into the evening time between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. That is when Jupiter is going to go through a sextile with the moon. Now, the Jupiter is the doctor, the guru, the teacher. You can see Jupiter 13 degrees, 12 minutes. Here's the moon 13 degrees, 35. So we're a little bit past the exact. It was close to exact, closer to like the 6:45, 7 o'clock time frame, but we're still pretty close to it right here. In this time frame, there can be some support. There can be an idea. What I am looking at, though, is Jupiter is hosting that Sun-Saturn conjunction that we're building to all week. So this can be an idea of a responsibility of, well, you know, if you can't do something, you can talk to so-and-so. Or there can be the idea of something that's about to get revealed. kind of getting hinted about right here, like, oh, I think so and so is getting the promotion. Oh, I think so and so is going to get that extra thing that I thought I was going to get. Or it's something completely positive and it's more along the lines of, hey, just so you know, whenever we go to announce this tomorrow, you're also going to get recognized for all the hard work that you've been doing. Jupiter, again, the doctor, the guru, the teacher, giving emphasis, giving helpfulness, giving lessons. What I'm looking at, though, is Jupiter is still hosting that Sun Saturn. So this kind of information, this expression, this lesson right here can be either letting somebody know that something else is about to get revealed, and they might not like it. So we got to be clear about that. Some people are going to have some ego checks this week. But for other people, it can also be letting them know, like, you are also about to be recognized. And there can be something in regards to that level of recognition, given the Sun Saturn conjunction that is building. Okay. After this, there's not a whole lot going on. We have some indirect transits that are happening throughout the day, but I'm not going to get real stuck on those. I want to just keep this rolling because, again, you guys know I don't feel good. We're going to get into the 11th. Most of the day is going to be just the lunar transits, with exception to the Venus-Mercury conjunction. So we're going to get into the morning time first, though. Between 9 and 11 a.m. Central Standard Time, Chiron is going to go through a trine with the moon. So you can see Chiron, 21 degrees, 9 minutes. Here's the moon, 20 degrees, 56 minutes. It's almost exact. We're about within a 10-minute range, 10 to 15-minute range of it actually going exact. So you can see it right here. Chiron, it is the wounded healer. How we heal something, how we fix something, how we overcome something, or we can be expressing how something has hurt. Some of us could be talking about a past wound, past situation. Some of us could be anticipating like how we fix something, how we heal something, how we overcome something. The Chiron energy is not real crazy right now, but what I am looking at is Chiron is in this trine with the moon while we're building to this Venus-Mercury conjunction right here. So given this is a vibration that we're in all day, the idea of how we fix something or how we overcome something or how we deal with a wound might have a very shocking vibration to it. There's a shock, there's a stunned vibration that can kind of set in on Tuesday. Some of us might be shocked to hear we've hurt someone's feelings. Some of us might be seeing somebody acting from their like wounded inner child, and we're shocked to see them behaving in such a way. Like, where did that even come from? I didn't even know you were mad about that. What's going on with you? But then as the day progresses, there's so much that speaks to some of that news coming through very unexpectedly that even in the moment, they might not be able to express why something was bothering them so much. But if you just continue to pay attention to the energy, we can understand where this vibration is coming from. Okay. As we get into the afternoon, between 2:30 and 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, so I got this now at 3:30, Uranus, 23 degrees, 57 minutes, is going to square the moon. And that's the moon right here at 24:04 minutes. So we're just past the exact right here. Uranus' square to the moon can be a pushing an unexpected idea, unexpected information, unexpected communication. But I'm looking at the fact that the only planet Venus is hosting is Uranus. Venus and Mercury are about to hit a conjunction. The full moon that's going to happen later in the week will also be aspecting this Uranus. The full moon that we had last month in Leo was also aspecting said Uranus. A lot of the vibration of where we're making changes over the course of eclipse season got activated and set in motion a month ago. And there can be some sudden news, unexpected news, shocking situations, shocking energy that comes through that, again, leaves an individual feeling very, very stunned. You hear a story, you hear a comment, you hear something that is just, you're in awe. You do not know how to respond. It is wow. The reason I keep saying that is because of how Mercury is going to respond to this Mercury-Venus conjunction. After Uranus hits the square to the moon goes void. So there's nothing immediately happening. But we still have this Mercury-Venus conjunction that's going to go exact in the evening time, roughly around 5:30 p.m. And I'll show you that here in just a second. But there's something about this that we tell something to someone unexpectedly. We emphasize something to someone that they are not anticipating. We hear something, and then it's like once we hear it, once we experience it, once we learn it, it is a complete shock to the system. There is something about Tuesday that feels like a shock to the system. And it comes through in these 2 points. So again, Uranus is going to square the moon the most exact between 2:30 and 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, between 5:30 and 6:19 p.m. So just got this now at 5:30. This is when Mercury and Venus hit their actual conjunction. Now, after this conjunction, Mercury is basically going to stop moving. He's going to make it all the way to about 9 degrees, and then he's going to go to spinning, stationing, and he's going to turn retrograde by the weekend. That is another reason why I'm saying there's something shocking. There's something very, very unexpected. There's something that is coming through that can just leave people head over heels, topsy-turvy. They don't know how to respond. They don't know how to react. They don't know how to be around people. There are times that you can hear something that you just do not know how to respond or how to react. And you're like, I need to check out. That can happen on Tuesday, especially in the second half of the day. We will not initially know how to respond. But considering after the moon goes into Virgo, which that's going to be exact on the 12th, that's going to actually be exact on Wednesday, the moon will be in Mercury's sign. Whatever comes through for a lot of people between the second half of Tuesday, based off of the most exact part of the transit, going into Wednesday, it is going to have a weighted, shocked vibration and the type of information that starts to come through and the types of transition in information that's going to come through. Please note how I said that. The transition in information. So we're going to keep this going. There's no more exact transits to the 12th. I'm sorry, to the 11th. So we're going to get into the 12th. At 2:56 a.m. Central Standard Time, that is when the moon is going to go into Virgo. You can see that right here. Mercury and Venus are still in their conjunction. They're not the exact minute, but they're still both at 8 degrees. And right after the moon goes into Virgo, this is whenever the sun and Saturn start their conjunction. Now, this is actually going to go exact between 5:10 and 5:33 a.m. Central Standard Time. So I got this now at 5:30. The moon's newly in Virgo. Mercury hits that 9-degree mark. This is where he's going to station to go retrograde at the end of the week. And here is the Sun-Saturn conjunction. It is exact right here. News, communication, something getting recognized. Sun-Saturn can be recognition. Something coming to light about an elder, by an elder, about the boss, by a boss, CEOs, it does not matter. Something gets revealed in regards to higher ups, authority figures, responsibility. Certain people will have new responsibilities issued to them, automatically, like that was not planned. And again, it's a shock to the system. You're like, what do you mean? I'm taking on Sally's job position. I didn't even know that Sally was gone. Oh, you fired her this week. Wow. Great. I didn't even know that was going to be a thing. Oh, you just hired somebody new? I didn't even know there was a job position opening. You want me to train this person? What's their title going to be? What's going on right here? There will be shocks to the system that, again, are going to result in us having to do an immediate follow-up and follow-through after this week. But the arrival of the news, the arrival of the situation, the arrival of whatever's going on comes through somewhere this week. And it feels the most exact somewhere between Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Now, once the moon goes into Virgo, and you can see that right here, we're in full moon vibration. The full moon will not actually perfect until the overnight hours of Thursday going into Friday. So for some people, it's going to be March 13th. For other people, it's actually going to be Friday, March 14th. But as soon as the moon goes into Virgo, we are in full moon vibration. That starts right here. The news, the information, the recognition, the responsibility, the gossip, if it's gossip, about the boss, about the elder, about this situation, whatever starts to come to light, whatever comes into focus, whatever gets achieved. Some people, it will be achievement. There will be that level of recognition. And it's like the news that follows is like chitter chatter, chitter chatter. Everybody's talking about it. Oh, that's so great. That's this big thing is happening. For some people, this will be positive. For other people, it's going to be hectic. I don't want to say it's going to be bad. I want to say it's going to be hectic. That there's going to be kind of a crazy where we immediately kind of struggle with knowing how to respond vibration. And that's why I'm saying hectic. Now, here's the thing about the 12th. This is the only direct transit, is the Sun-Saturn conjunction. This is it. Mercury hits the 9-degree mark. He will be stationing and spinning all day long. The moon is going to go into Virgo. It is going to initiate changes in communication, changes in plans, changes in programs, changes in transportation, changes in the plans, changes in the commute, change. Somewhere between the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th. Yay, yay, yay. Change of plans. Here it comes. All right. After, again, the Sun-Saturn conjunction, we're in the vibration all day long. It is the most exact early in the morning between 5:10 and 5:33 a.m. There are no other direct transits to the 12th. We're going to keep it going. We're getting into the 13th. The first transit that's going to happen happens between 4 and 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, and that is when Jupiter is going to square the moon. Now, Jupiter, again, hosting that Sun-Saturn conjunction. For some people, there was a warning during the Jupiter-Sun sextile when the moon was in Leo. That was back on like Monday. Now we have a questioning. Now we have a push of knowledge, a push of information, a push of something coming through. Jupiter is in the higher authority right here, just like, well, so-and-so has now been recognized. How do you feel about it? I don't know how I feel about this right now. I'm still processing. I'm still thinking about it. Given that Mercury is stationing, we're still thinking about some things. We do not know immediately how to respond. There can be some irritability. There can be some arguments. There can be some tension, and there can be some frustration. Squares can bring that out of people, but given the fact that Jupiter's in Mercury sign and the moon is in Mercury sign while Mercury is stationing, pop-off season. Please remember that. Pop-off season is real. Okay, moving this along. Between 2:30 and 4:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, so we're going to this the afternoon now, Mars is going to sextile the moon. So I got Mars 18 degrees, 48 minutes. Here's the moon 18 degrees, 41 minutes. Mars is finally moving. So we've had some level of progression, but we've also had the identification of certain irritabilities that have been going on, certain frustrations, certain disruptions. And some of those disruptions can lead into an idea. It can lead into our mentality of what we're thinking about. It can be pushing something. We can be hearing an irritation from another person. We can be seeing somebody else pissed off, but after we hear their ideas and hear their agenda, it's like, that kind of makes sense. I'm not saying that I'm mad too. I'm just saying like that kind of makes sense. And there can be something tied to that. There can be, I don't want to say a push because I usually feel like pushes come more from squares, but there can be something that speaks to seeing someone else being irritable and it just plants a seed. Not so much pushes, but we just see the disruption and we realize that disruption isn't so far off course. And I know disruption gets real weird whenever I say that because it can manifest in so many different ways. But whenever we see how someone has been disrupted by something, whether that has been like something in their personal life, something in their household, something in their job, and once we hear what has been going on with them, it's like, oh, well, now I see why we haven't talked in a few weeks. Now I see why you didn't return my call. Now I see why you didn't say XYZ 1, 2, 3. Now I see why you didn't come to the birthday party. Oh, I understand now. That's what I mean by like the disruption that is emphasized. We suddenly understand, oh, I didn't know that you guys were fighting. I didn't know while we weren't talking. I didn't know what I didn't know. And that's what this vibration kind of feels like to me. Okay. Now, when we get into the evening time, there can be some tensions, there can be some frustrations, there can also be some things again regarding the boss, regarding the elder that really start to take shape and come into the forefront. And that kind of speaks to the moon's opposition to Saturn. So this is going to go the most exact between 10:30 and 11:30 p.m. Central Standard Time. So I write this in out at 10:30. Did I say that right? 9:30 p.m. and 11:30 p.m. I don't know what I just said. Okay. But here's the moon, 22 degrees, 13 minutes, hitting its opposition to Saturn at 22 degrees, 18 minutes. You can see this right here. The rules, the law, the boundaries, the elder. Taking something to an elder, taking something to the boss. Are we taking something to the boss? Everybody's boss at 10:30 at night? No, not necessarily. But you can be emailing your boss at 10:30 at night. You can be getting an email from your boss at 10:30 at night. Be prepared for that. Having some kind of communication come through unexpectedly in the overnight hours between Thursday into Friday. Given that Uranus is going to be involved, that's why I'm saying it this way. Some of us are going to be, again, receiving something from the boss, receiving something from the elder, receiving something from an authority figure. Some of us are going to be providing something to the boss, providing something to the authority figure, sending in our resumes, addressing a change, addressing what has just come through. Some of us are going to be seeing something else that has just been revealed and giving our input. Some of us are seeing something that just got revealed and turning in our 2 weeks notice or turning in our resignation. It can go from one extreme to the other. It's eclipse season. It can go from one extreme to the other. Now, this is the last direct transit to the 13th. We're going to go ahead and get into the 14th. For some people, the full moon eclipse in Virgo is going to happen on the 13th. It really kind of depends on your time zone. For me personally, the full moon eclipse goes the most exact between at 1:54 a.m. Central Standard Time. So this is why I'm giving range in regards to like your personal time zones. For some people, it's going to be the 13th. For other people, it's going to be the 14th. We're really close right here at 1:30. When the moon goes through the opposition to the sun, what it will simultaneously do is it will go through a trine with Uranus. The moon's opposition to the sun can be felt the most exact between 1 and 3 a.m. Uranus's trine to the moon can be felt the most exact between 1 and 3 a.m. For some people, this is going to be excitement. Now, if you live in the America, South America, Mexico, North America, Canada, this whole, all, I know I just said North America and Canada like it's two different things. It's not. We can all see this eclipse in the overnight hours. Like it's going to be different times and stuff for everybody. But for some people, if you're a night owl person, you're actually going to want to go outside. You're going to be super excited to see like the moon disappear and then reappear. Some people are going to go outside to watch this eclipse. And that can be the excitement whenever it comes to the Uranus trine. For other people, though, this is still a full moon vibration. And it can speak to unexpected information, unexpected changes. I'm going off of what Virgo represents, and the fact that Uranus is involved. Unexpected news, unexpected information, unexpected opinion changes, unexpected plan changes, getting initiated somewhere on Friday. It is just the most exact in these late hours from Thursday into Friday. And for some people, whatever happens going into this full moon and going into the weekend, there will be a plan change. Something is not going to go to plan. And you just need to be prepared for that. I'll do a full moon eclipse video later in the week, of course. The exact sextile between Sun and Uranus is actually going to go the most exact between 4:07 and 4:30 a.m. So now I got this at 4:30. Here's the Sun's sextile to Uranus. Again, Uranus was in that trine to the moon. Seeing something unexpected, seeing something excited, Getting some type of unexpected communication. Some of the things that I said on Thursday, I'm going to say them again right here. Unexpected communication coming through overnight, having some type of change of plans that ends up happening, some type of change in the dialogue. I'm looking at the fact that Mercury is stationing and is within 24 hours of going retrograde. There can be things that start to impact people's physical health, especially their intestinal health, given that it's Virgo. Mercury rules anything on your body in duality. So anything that regards your limbs, anything that you have duals of, 2 eyes, 2 arms, 2 legs. Suddenly you can have things that are like, this arm ain't working right. This foot, I don't know why, it's just pins and needles, that type of thing. Be aware of how this is impacting your body. People will have physical reactions to this just as much as they can have the literal reactions of unexpected things going on in their world. For some people, this will be exciting. For other people, it's going to be unexpected and hectic. Hectic is the best word that I've got. Okay, moving this along. Oh, the sun sextile to Uranus is again identifying something unexpected, identifying something very, very exciting. It can happen that way sometimes. As we get into the daytime, though, between noon and 2 p.m., so I got this now at 12:30, the moon is going to hit this opposition to Neptune, and that's going to be interesting. This is seeing something confusing, seeing something enlightening, seeing the effects of something, having something revealed that we were not aware of, that we were not seeing clearly, discovering a lie, discovering a fraud, discovering a deception. For some people, it's needing the effects of something, needing the inspiration of something, needing to do something that we just need to believe is going to go well. Some people, this will be inspiring energy. For other people, this is going to be where you start to learn that other people are suddenly not doing what they need to do. Things are not going to plan. And it's going to leave a lot of people feeling very confused about the situation, about the vibration, about how we're going to handle something. There will be areas of the day on Friday that leave us feeling very, very confused, especially whenever the moon hits this opposition to Neptune. Now, this is going to be felt the most exact between noon and 2 p.m. And exactly at 2 p.m., that is whenever the moon is going to go into Libra. So now I got this at 2:30. After the moon goes into Libra, the moon is now in Venus's sign. Venus is moving again. Venus is retrograde. And we can be very aware of an action or a reaction that we're needing to take because something has not been fair because of how Venus is dealing with this vibration. Venus is ready to fight back. Venus is willing to fight back. Venus is willing to tell some people off. Now, in the evening time, between 7:30 and 9:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, the moon is going to make this trine to Pluto. Now, I don't mind the trines to Pluto. I really don't. I tend to do well with Pluto, but I'm a Scorpio rising with Pluto conjunct my ascendant. I ain't scared of Pluto. Like, I deal with Pluto's vibration. But other people, maybe they're not going to deal with it the same way. Now, again, we are going through the fact that Pluto is in both Uranus' sign and Saturn's sign. And part of this week, we had a Sun-Saturn conjunction. Whatever has come through throughout the week, we might now be very much more aware and understanding of something, again, that we're willing to fight back on, that we're willing to be a little bit more motivated about, that we don't feel like has been fair, or that we need to take some kind of action to make something fair. Libra is the scales. It is balance. This is why I'm saying the fair aspect. When Venus is retrograde, in a lot of ways, Venus doesn't want to act right, but in other ways, this is Venus in her detriment. She has no choice but to act out. And some people might be seeing other people act out in a way that's just like, it's just alarming. Like, why are you acting this way? Why are you being this way? Why are you going to show your ass like that? Why are you pushing everybody's buttons? I'm mad. I understand you're mad, but that doesn't mean that you need to take your energy out on everybody else. And you're going to see these people that are just acting out in certain ways, acting out of character. And again, pop off season. Mercury is stationing hours away from going retrograde. And in a lot of ways, the way that Venus is acting out is because she's not happy with the authority figure, with the responsibility, with what has been revealed, with what has gone on. Or her focus is now, I have to do this action, which is not what I want to do, but it's what's best for the elder to get something right for someone else, to get something put into focus. I have no other choice but to do this thing, but to focus in this way. So some are going to be very, very empowered by the time we get into Friday evening. Others are going to be very, very much acting out of character. Be prepared for both. All right, moving this along. We're going to get into the 15th. And the first thing that is going to happen at 1:47 a.m. Central Standard Time, so I got this at 1:30, Mercury, 9 degrees, 35 minutes, direct. Bump it to 2:30, Mercury, 9 degrees, 35 minutes, retrograde. Mercury turns retrograde at 1:47 a.m. Central Standard Time. Opinions change, an idea change, information changes, plans change, commute change, rules change. By the time we get to the end of the week, we've got an idea of what this is going to be. And I do feel like whatever happened in the Sun-Saturn conjunction and in that full moon in Virgo makes us very, very aware of what this Mercury retrograde change is. There is a change in the plans. You just got to be prepared. All right. Now, between 3:30 and 5:30 a.m. Central Standard Time, the moon is going to hit an opposition to Venus. So I got this now at 4:30. Here's the moon, 7 degrees, 14 minutes. Here's Venus, 17 degrees, 11 minutes, hitting that opposition. Oh, Venus is hosting that moon. We can understand why someone else can't do something, why they can't take an action, why they've had to make a change, why they can't commit to something, why they're going in another direction. Other people are going to challenge another person, be like, I don't think you're being fair with the way that you are reacting to something right now. Well, you don't know where I'm coming from because you don't know what I've been dealing with. And there will be some times that no matter what you say to whoever, reason is not going to be allowed. Reason is not going to come through. Reason is not something that people are going to understand. It's just not going to work. Venus is not going to be direct for a month. I'm rounding it right now. Like March, it's April 12th is when she turns direct. So given the vibration that Venus is in right now, given what she's going through and how much more of her retrograde is necessary, sometimes it does not matter how much you're trying to logic something with another person. They're just not going to see eye to eye. Now, for some of us, we're going to be trying to do something and we're not going to be happy with the appearance. We're not going to be happy with the outcome. We're going to be dealing with something, again, that was not necessarily going to plan. And there's a reaction. We're dealing with a reaction that, again, was not a part of the plan. Now, that reaction can come through in a multitude of ways. For some people, that is going to be a physical, actual health reaction. Be prepared for that. For other people, it is going to be something going on in the actual room. You got a shipment coming in. Hopefully, we're not getting shipments in at 4:30 in the morning, but hear me out. You got a shipment coming in, but this is a box that's full of crackers. You ordered a kid's toy. This ain't working right. No, this is supposed to be the princess, whatever gymnastic thing for my niece, not a box of Cheez-Its. What the hell just happened? Hopefully we're not all getting orders at 4:30 in the morning, like I said. But this is what I mean. Like, we're expecting one thing to appear and look a certain way, to come out in a certain way. We expect a certain reaction, and that is not what we're getting. And again, now that Mercury is retrograde, not everything's going to plan. Reactions can be physical, mental, emotional, all the levels, and be prepared for that. Okay. Oh, between 8 and 10 a.m. Central Standard Time, the moon is going to hit an opposition to Mercury. Now, this is a newly retrograde Mercury, so I got this at 9:30. This is where, again, some people are going to be learning of a change of plans. Something happened last night. There was an accident. Somebody got sick. Something went wrong. Something's happened. I can't make it. I won't be there. I'm not going to be able to do something. Now, this is Mercury retrograde just after an eclipse. This can be a very big change of plans, just as much as it can be a small change of plans. Some people, because we've had a pattern of inconsistency, this one small thing can be the straw that breaks the camel's back because we've had weeks of inconsistency. And if we've had weeks of inconsistency, this can lead to tension, and this can lead to an argument. This can lead to frustration. And I want people to be prepared. Pop-off season. People are going to be potentially popping off. People are going to have some tensions. People are going to be confused. People aren't necessarily going to know what's going on. There can be a change of plans. That change of plans, if that's coming from someone that feels like it's been an inconsistent pattern that's been over and over again, there can be fighting. It just can happen that way. Okay. After that, we get into the evening time. Between 4:30 and 6:30 p.m. Central Standard Time, Jupiter is going to go through a trine with the moon. Again, Jupiter's the doctor, the guru, the teacher, giving aid, giving help, giving news, giving support, giving lessons, extending a helping hand. Hey, I know you were expecting more people, earlier in the day, but nobody showed up, but I can come in now and I can help you wrap up the day. I can help you clean up. I can help you I can stay late and help you clean up after this birthday party. I'm just going with the idea of a birthday party. I don't know why. Like, I know you had a different plan throughout the day and I couldn't help a whole lot sooner, but I can help now. How can I help you? And this is a supportive vibration. This is a helpful vibration. This is giving support, giving help, giving knowledge, and helping somebody work through their tension, work through the frustration, work through whatever's been bothering them throughout the day. Not a whole lot else whenever it comes to Saturday. We're going to get into Sunday. Sunday's not super heavy with the transits anyways. Whenever we get into the morning time on the 16th, between 4 and 6 a.m. Central Standard Time, Mars is going to hit that square to the moon. There can still be tension. There can still be vibration. And what's interesting is that when we're going through this Mars moon square, the sun's getting really close to the north node. It's not exact, and it's not going to go exact on Sunday, but there's something here that speaks to egos can still come through, hurt feelings coming through, and revealing like why certain things have gone the way that they have, why you didn't take care of something in another way, or why you didn't commit to something, learning why someone else didn't commit to something. Mars can be pushing attention, pushing a vibration. What I'm looking at is Mars is hosting Mercury and hosting Venus. So there can be like underlying conditions being understood in the moment. There can be a push. This is a square. Mars is squaring the moon, pushing an aggression. This can also be the push of, again, a change of plan, a change in the dynamic, a change of something that we were anticipating, and letting someone know that some of the changes that are going on, like, we're not going to have an immediate response. Now, why am I saying that? Because I'm looking at Mercury and Venus and the fact that Mars is hosting that Mercury and Venus. Mercury just turned retrograde. Venus is going to be retrograde for quite a few more weeks. And part of what can be pushed right here is like, look, I don't know what's going on, but we're going to have to let some things work themselves out and not try to get involved in everybody's mess. We can't try to fix everything for everyone. We can't do what we would normally do. Just let them figure it out this time. That's a terrible idea. Well, it's the best that I got because everything's just getting too crazy. We need to let them figure their things out. We need to let that happen naturally. We need to let some things unfold. Well, I don't like that idea. I don't like that attitude, blah, blah, blah. There can still be tension. There can still be some things that don't set right. But in a lot of ways, there's not a whole lot of choice given the way the vibration is going to go. Okay. There is one other transit that's going to go on, and that's between 8 and 10 a.m. And that is when the moon hits the opposition to Chiron. Now, this is not a heavy energy. I've got Chiron 21 degrees, 25 minutes. I got the moon 21 degrees, 36 minutes. I got this at 9:30 a.m. right here. So we're just past the exact. This is what hurts. I can't believe how this weekend is gone. I thought better of them. I thought this was going to go differently. I thought I had a solution. I thought I had it all figured out. I thought I had it all fixed. You can't fix everything, baby. And sometimes you just have to let certain things off of your chest. We have to let certain things happen naturally. We have to let some things go. Now, what I will say is after the moon hits the opposition to Chiron, the moon is going to go void. So when it comes to the rest of Sunday, there's not a whole lot going on. There's not a lot of activity. It is more along the lines of trying to understand, compose ourselves, react. Yes, in some ways, there is a reactiveness to the vibration, but we won't be reacting immediately. It's more trying to wrap our head around some things, knowing that, again, part of the plan and part of the change of whatever has happened is either because of the authority figure, about the elder, about the boss, because of them, or for them. Now, some of us, we are going to be the Saturnian ones whenever it comes to the vibration this week. And certain people around us are going to be having to make some changes to take responsibility for us. For some of you, you're going to be making some unplanned adjustments and unplanned changes to deal with something, again, for a boss, for an authority figure, for an elder. You have to take a certain level of responsibility that was not planned. Now, sometimes that can be temporary things. Something happens in someone's health and you have to step into a role temporarily. You have to step into something temporarily. You got to go handle some extra business that you don't normally handle, but it doesn't mean that you can't handle it. And it might actually open up opportunity for something later. And this is a more positive way to deal with that vibration. But some of us, whenever we talk about what's going on in the arena in the world, this vibration is going to be way heavier. And I don't want to get into that right now because I'm tired of thinking about it. I'm tired of dealing with it. I don't want to talk about it. But I'm being realistic about that too. Part of what can come through can actually have to be with our political climate, and what gets revealed this week can lead to a reactive energy. Physical levels of reaction, opinionated reactions, certain things coming through that completely change our scope, our mentality, and change the way that we're dealing with something. Any level, all levels, not just one level. There will be a change of plans, a change of opinion, a change in direction for a lot of people by the end of the week. For some of you, you are going to cause that change in reaction, the change of opinion. You are going to cause something to happen to where other people are going to be shocked, stunned, and reverse course. Some of you are going to be the ones that are shocked, stunned, and reverse course. Opinions change, plans change, the dialogue changes this week. But whatever follows is going to have that, yes, the reactive energy, but it's like we're following something closely. And that speaks volumes through the Venus, Mercury, retrograde doing this on top of each other. Them following each other tells me that for a lot of people, the reaction energy has to do with Venus and what she's going through, because Venus is in her detriment. But once we find a solution, something is going to go well for Venus, and it's going to be ultimately confusing once we get deeper into the month, like literally the end of the month, and we land ourselves into April. There's going to be positives and negatives to everything that comes through. But whenever I feel like so much of this week is going to be unplanned change, it's because not all of us understand or know where the changes are coming from until everything unfolds. Especially if it's going to be a reactive energy to someone's health. You can't necessarily always plan for that. Knock on wood scenarios, you can't plan for accidents. You can't plan for um, break-ins, thefts. There's certain things you can't plan for. But I feel like we hit peaks in the energy this week that put us into situations that we're not planning for. And I'm just trying to think of that human effect situation of what those can look like. But how that manifests for you is going to be different for everybody. And that's the big thing. Okay. Um, Obviously I've been sick. I've actually been sick since about Wednesday. Some people, if you had a pre-recorded session that was supposed to go out this week, like either a personalized horoscope or a natal chart reading, I have not sent those out yet, obviously, because I have spent more time in bed since Wednesday than I have done anything else. I'm just being honest about that. If you did have a session with me because you caught me like in a good spin somewhere between Wednesday and Thursday, um, I have not sent your links out. I will send those out either later. Well, it's probably going to be Monday. I'll be honest about that. Like I'll send those out later. And then I'm not going to do a Venus retrograde video just because so much of it is going to be just a repetitive pattern of everything else that's going on. And I want to put more focus on where we're going next because now we're already in the Venus retrograde energy, and it doesn't make sense to keep harping on the fact that we're going into a reactive energy. Everything has told me this Venus retrograde is a reaction to everything that's gone down since last summer, since that Mars Uranus conjunction, and that was July. But for some people, it can go even further back based off of some of those outer planets. But for the majority of us, since July, like everything about this Venus retrograde is a reaction. So, okay. I love and appreciate every single one of you. I will talk to everybody very, very soon. Subscribe.